needs clean water? Only every one of us and all of life on the planet, right? This is intuitive. I don't have to convince you of the importance of clean water. Who needs yarn? No one needs yarn. I'm crazy, right? I promise I'm not. What if we could inspire the protection of clean water using yarn? What if I told you that wool is magic? That crafting could be a superpower? That everything you thought about knitting was wrong? I'm going to show you what wool has to do with water. I bet you thought it was nothing. Maybe the better question would be, who needs art? Together with my friends and colleagues at Paul Smith College, we've been experimenting with using fiber art as a tool for environmental education. The inspiration for our work is clean water. What could be more important? Our beautiful campus sits on the shores of Lower St. Regis Lake, one of the thousands of lakes in the Adirondack Park, which also, by the way, has globally significant wetlands and more than 30,000 miles of rivers and streams. Glaciers were the architects of our landscapes, creating the rivers and streams. And from the original indigenous communities to the millions of visitors that come every year to kayak, paddle, fish, swim, our waters are vital to our region, critical to our identity, and creating a deep connection between us and the natural world. Water was the impetus for the creation of the Adirondack Park, and its protection is no less important today. But climate change, invasive species, road salt pollution, harmful algal blooms mean that we have to continue to work to protect our waterways. The Adirondack Watershed Institute at Paul Smith is at the forefront of that fight. We're working on it every day, and one of the tools we're using is art. Wool and Water is a data art project. We're combining fiber art with scientific information to tell the stories of our waterways in the Adirondack Park and the Lake Champlain Basin. To talk about what water quality means in our region, illustrate the threats to our waters, and inspire their stewardship and protection. We started in 2022 on the 50-year anniversary of the Clean Water Act, and the response has been amazing. And we've been stitching the story of water with fiber art ever since. The medium of fiber, too, I think, has a special magic. There's magic in the colors and the textures and the tactile nature of these pieces. There are endless ways to convey information. This is different from art that you put on a wall with a sign that says, please don't touch. In fact, I often say, please do touch. Wool is an incredible fiber, as are many of the natural fibers that we've endeavored to use in this project. Have you ever met a sheep? Or an Angora goat like my friend Norman? They've been wearing this stuff in all kinds of weather for years. If you've ever had a real wool sweater, you know that it will last you a lifetime. Art made of wool is art to touch and feel. Smush between your fingers, rub against your face, and then go away and figure out how you can make your own. There's another aspect to this magic that I had only a vague sense of and wasn't good at articulating until I had a conversation with a friend about it. And she did a much better job of explaining it than me, but essentially what she said is that these pieces are powerful and beautiful and appeal to multiple senses, but they're also difficult. They remove complacency. We can no longer claim to not understand the issue once we've seen them. But the magic is that we don't mind so much in this format. It's easier to see those difficult truths in a form like this. The pieces are beautiful and gentle and extremely powerful at the same time. just like nature. Yarn crafts are also global. They're practiced all over the world with wonderful regional flavors and varieties, but a universal understanding and an enormous community around the planet. Their social network has members from more than 200 countries or territories. More than 30,000 of them descend on Dutchess County, a few hours south of here, every year for the annual New York Sheep and Wool Festival, one of the biggest of its kind. More than 1,000 of them just went to the Shetland Islands a few weeks ago for Wool Week. This is more than your average attendance at a scientific conference. This is a craft that will bring people together, even when it means multiple forms of transportation to a tiny island archipelago high up in the North Sea, not too far from the Arctic Circle. Here's a scenario that I imagine because I know it to be a real and true possibility. I imagine walking into a train station or a cafe in another country where I don't speak a word of the language. I'm sure that I would feel intimidated, but I'm also certain that if I saw somebody sitting with their knitting or their crochet, that I wouldn't hesitate for a minute to go and sit down next to that person and pull out my project, and we would have an instant connection. We wouldn't even need to speak a word to have created that bond, although I'm sure we would attempt to, with gestures and smiles and laughs. But conversation without even a common language, that is powerful.